I'm going to show you how to connect two 80-20 10 series 1030 pieces for the dynamic perception time-lapse dolly. So let's get started. So first thing you got to do is buy your rail. This is 80-20 1030 10 series. That'll give you a good idea of the profile. I bought two 24-inch sections. And the next thing you need to buy is T-nut profile, which looks like this. Mine came in 36 inches long, 36-inch length, and I cut it. Unfortunately, I don't have video of that, but I'm sure you can figure that out. Take your T-nut profile, cut it. I had 36 inches, so I made 9-inch pieces. After I cut it, I took all the ends and sanded them. Actually used my bench grinder to smooth the end. So the next thing is figure out where you want your holes. I put mine a 1/2 inch in and 3 inches in from the end. I don't know, you can put your holes wherever you want. I just thought that would grab the best. So I drilled my holes, and then I've got 2 of them done, and then I tap the holes. So I'm tapping for a 1/4 inch 20. 1/4 inch, 20 threads per inch. So 1/4 20 holes need a 1364 drill bit. So get your 1364, drill all 16 holes, and then tap the holes. So that's what I'm going to show you. I've already drilled my holes. I've already cut these to length, so you don't get to see any of that. But what I've been doing is I put my tap on my drill press. Not because I want to turn it on and have it do it for me, but because when you're tapping a hole, you have to make sure you're perfectly square to the hole. And I thought, what better way to do that than with a drill press? So I've been putting my piece in place and taking this pair of vice grips here that can work around things. I put them on the left side of my work so that as the torque of tapping wants to turn the piece, they actually hit against the body of the vice grips. So I'll bring this down, which will center it, and then I can clamp my vice grips, and that will hold the work in place. So now basically all I do is oil the tap, and I want to get tapping fluid, but I don't have any. I would recommend doing that. It looks like my tap is actually bent a little bit, but alright, so now that it's in the hole, basically I'll just apply a little bit of pressure here and spin the tap. And I'll do it up a couple times, and I'll put a little oil on it. But this way, I don't have to think about whether or not I'm staying perfectly perpendicular to the piece. All I have to do is hold a little bit of pressure and spin it. And I don't actually have to hold any pressure at this point because it's embedded in the piece, but this is a spring-loaded chuck, so it tries to pull up. So I just keep applying pressure. So now it's threaded, and I just spin it all the way down, just for fun, and then spin it all the way up. So do that to all 16 of your holes. So after you get done tapping it, find a 1/4 20 bolt and just run it through the hole, because there can be little scraps of metal left in the hole. So then I just run the bolt through and then wipe them off and then back it back out, and that should clean out the hole pretty well. Alright, so this is the idea here. They slide in, you bolt them in with set screws, and then you do the same on the other side. Now I don't have any of the set screws, but this is basically how it will work. I'm tempted to just use bolts and see how it holds, so I may do that. But yeah. So yeah, put it together with bolts. It seems to line up really, really well. It's also really solid. I mean, it feels like a solid piece of aluminum. I mean, there's just no moving it at all. And set screws will have the same net effect. as those bolts. So I'm going to go get some set screws and try it out. So yeah, this is a box of 1/4 by 1/4 inch set screws. They're cup point, not any other. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of points. But anyway, you can get these at McMaster for $2.51 for a box of 25. So I'll put the link below in the description. But yeah, these are definitely the way to go. I couldn't find them anywhere else. Fastenal might have them, but anyway. So there's one. It's totally solid. It's got a really low profile. So those are perfect. I'm totally psyched with that. The plastitive actually makes a big difference just being grippy. So I would recommend it, although you have to, I'll show you actually. In order to get the thing off, you really should cut around the bolt. I'm not going to be able to illustrate this well, but if you cut around the bolt, then you shouldn't take the plastitive with the bolt. So do that. Alright, so I have 4 of them mounted in, as you can see here. And then I just take my other piece, and so there we go. Oops, I think I lost one. So it fits together pretty tightly, which is good. The trick now is to make sure that these seams here are perfectly aligned, which they do pretty well, but if you see that, like, you can still slide them side to side. So I may put some centering pins in the middle, but for now let's just tighten it up. Okay, there it is, all tight, I think. That is solid. Like, so if you look, that seam is, I mean, just as good as it could possibly get. I mean, maybe you would want to sand it, you know, so that the edges are not sharp, but I feel like with sharp edges it makes a nice clean connection. Otherwise you'd get a little bump if you had a slight bevel. So anyway, there it is. How to connect two 80/20 rails to the dynamic perception dolly.